Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "I believe that unarmed truth and unconditional love will have the final word in reality." I know this center here has been honoring the 64 days of the Season for Nonviolence. It's a program that I discovered about 7-8 years ago, and it was such a great concept to me that there could be several months of practices and things that we can do as individuals and communities to raise the vibration of the planet and to open ourselves up for the idea, the concept of creating a world that works for everyone. As we observe the Season for Nonviolence, we're honoring the lives and work of Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi, Cesar Chavez, and we just added Nelson Mandela and the Dalai Lama to the lineup of the honorees for this season. I think it's so great that Nelson Mandela was alive during my lifetime, as is the Dalai Lama, that we have examples of the Mother Teresas and the MLKs and people that really have lived their belief systems. And I think they all taught us that if we truly could see each other as our brothers and sisters, that we would have a world that works a lot better. All of the people were willing to sacrifice pretty much everything for what they believed. In studying them and Mother Teresa and many, many other enlightened people from Native American to shamans to presidents, the thing that kept coming up for me as I wondered, how did they do the work that they did in the world? I mean, there was hatred, there was chaos, there was just absolute insanity swirling around all of these people. And what kept coming up for me was that they had like an inner core. They had like an inner peace inside of them. And they also had this incredibly deep compassion and understanding and forgiveness of other people. So that seemed to be the common thread. They didn't look outside of themselves as much as inside themselves. And each had a core belief system that gave them the strength to do the work that they did in the world. Now, this isn't to say that they all believed the same things, but they had some kind of an anchor inside. Does this make sense? So this is the goal for me, for myself, and perhaps might be the goal for each of us, is to let the peace begin with us as individuals, to find whatever it takes, whatever practices that we can incorporate into our lives to be that anchor, to find that anchor. Now, when Nelson Mandela started out, he was pretty much a violent activist. He got into a lot of trouble and did some very violent actions. But once he embraced the idea that that he could even create a better outcome if he did it nonviolently, things shifted in a massive, massive way. Probably the most powerful thing that I have learned from the studies that I've done on Nelson Mandela is that he was able to forgive completely. To forgive completely. Even when he was in prison, he was able to get to that place where he didn't hold any animosity toward the people who held him in prison. And he was able to change the world by making that commitment to forgive. I believe that we each have the power to change the world, each one of us, if we could make the commitment to love. And if we can make that commitment to developing an anchor inside of us. A lot of the program this morning, because I never in a million years thought that I'd be standing up in front of people speaking. When I was a kid in high school, I would die. I thought I was going to die if I had to get up and give a speech. So music is really the medium that I prefer to speak through. So a lot of this is going to be done through song. So I hope that's going to work for you. I trust it's going to work.
Nelson Mandela said, "What counts in life is not the mere fact that we have lived. It is what difference we have made to the lives of others that will determine the significance of the life that we lead."
Stop the violence, start the healing. try a little love. Where's the love my heart's concealing? What about that love? I will be that love. But what can I do? I am just one person. I feel my world spinning out of control. I'm going to be a peaceful example. Starting today, this is my goal. Start the healing, stop the violence, try a little love. And I will not stand by in silence. I can change the world. I can be that love. When I look around, sometimes it seems hopeless, hearts filled with pain, anger and fear. But I will give love and feel compassion, 'cause I know that this is why I am here. To stop the healing, stop the violence, try a little love. Share the love my heart's concealing. I will share that love. I will be that love. And I'll open up. Though I may feel helpless, I will reach out. And I'll touch a heart, trusting that I'll be the change I am seeking. Each caring word brings a new start. Stop the violence, start the healing, try a little love. Where's the love my heart's concealing? I will share that love. I will be that love. And I'll open up. Though I may feel helpless, I will reach out. And I'll touch a heart, trusting that I'll be the change I am seeking. Each caring word brings a new start. Start the healing, stop the violence, try a little love. And I will not stand by in silence. I can change the world. I will be that love. Start the healing, stop the violence, try a little love. And I will not stand by in silence. I can change the world. I can be that love.
Nonviolence is not a garment to be put on and off at will. Its seat is in the heart, and it must be an inseparable part of our being. Gandhi.
There's no shortage of great quotes by these people. Many years ago, at a church that I was a guest musician at, a minister shared this idea, and she asked us, how do you show up in the world? As a nice person who's compassionate, or somebody who's angry, somebody who's hurt, somebody who's a jerk? Met any of those lately? I have. She proposed a very simple idea. Sounds very simple, looks good on paper. She put forth the idea of showing up as love. Sounds simple. Tell that guy in the grocery store in front of you in the 10 items or left aisle goes in with 40. or till you try to raise a teenager. Sometimes it's a little hard to show up in love or as love. But when we can get to the place that when stuff starts to come up for us, we can stop just for a second and ask one question. And that question is, what would love do here? If I can shift from whatever else I'm feeling in this moment and ask myself, what would love do right here? You can really shift the energy. You can forgive that person with 56 items in the 10 items or only lane and just let it go. And then the energy that you're putting out for that moment and hopefully the rest of the day is going to be a lot more positive than carrying around that anger. Perhaps this is exactly what Gandhi meant when he said, you must be the change you wish to see in the world. Because if we each did our best to hang on to that anchor of peace, to develop that anchor of peace, wouldn't that shift things really dramatically in the world? The Dalai Lama says, my religion is simple. My religion is kindness. I've met a lot of people who have met the Dalai Lama. In fact, I even signed up to go to the Parliament of World Religions conference this year because he's going to be there. And I just want to be close to that kind of energy. People that I know that have met him said you can feel it. You can feel it in a building that he's in. He has such a strong anchor, such a huge compassionate energy. So I don't know about you guys, but my life constantly is forcing tremendous changes on me. I don't like change. Well, I was born in April. I'm a bullheaded Taurus. I don't like change. In the past few years, I lost my sister, my mother, and many close friends. And right now I have 4 people that are extremely close in my life that are in the throes of cancer. I've had my faith tested over and over and over and over and over again. And I've had to develop some new ways of doing and seeing things. Making the space to actually hear that voice inside of me that sometimes has to really scream for me to pay attention. And it's been motivating me to realize that our ability to create and hold on to our center or anchor can help not only shift our lives, but when we can be that person that doesn't freak out at the guy in front of us in line or the guy who cut us off on the freeway, that we are in essence shifting the energy of all those around us. We can create a ripple effect. It's so simple, but we forget that it's all energy. We're all energy. So I really want to encourage you to every time stuff starts to come up, to ask yourself, what would love do here?
And from Gandhi again, each one has to find his peace from within, and peace to be real must be unaffected by outside circumstances.
Another 12-hour day, working as a seamstress in Montgomery. She climbed aboard a bus. There was nobody sitting there when she took that seat. She said, I'm not getting up. An ordinary act of courage sparked a revolution. She wasn't trying to be a problem, just part of the solution. She was one drop of water in an ocean of hope, one voice of reason that finally spoke. If we're ever gonna get along, if peace is our desire, we're never gonna get there fighting fire with fire. She was one drop of water, one drop of water. He called himself a common man, not a hero, not a saint. He knew that war just leads to war. He fought for freedom in nonviolent ways, a cause worth dying for, 'cause he believed that we can change the world with quiet dignity. And hundreds grew to thousands as he marched down to the sea. He was one drop of water in an ocean of hope, one voice of reason that finally spoke. If we're ever gonna get along, if peace is our desire, we're never gonna get there fighting fire with fire. He was one drop of water, one drop of water. Well, I am just a simple child of the universe. I know that freedom is not free. I love my country and I respect our Mother Earth, but with my heart I see that there are times that we must stand alone, even in our fear. Times to stand for our beliefs when what is right is clear. I'm gonna be one drop of water in an ocean of hope, one voice of reason that finally spoke. We're ever gonna get along, peace is our desire. We're never gonna get there fighting fire with fire. I wanna be one drop of water. We can wage a war with words or weapons, pray for peace or make it happen. We all could be one drop of water in an ocean of hope, one voice of reason that finally spoke. If we're ever gonna get along, if peace is our desire, we're never gonna get there fighting fire with fire. We all can be one drop of water. Let us be one drop of water. Please let me be one drop of water.
Black Elk said, "The first peace, which is the most important, is that which comes within the souls of people, when they realize that at the center of the universe dwells the Great Spirit, and that the center is really everywhere. It is within each of us."
That last quote rings so true for me. I tried reading books, attending seminars, going to church. I recognize that all of these are great tools. However, I was still a wreck. It happens. When I realized that I needed to really start doing the deeper work, and I realized that I had a lot of work to do, peaceful behavior is something that we can learn intellectually, but it's something that we have to be willing to try to live. Or not to try to live, but to live. To show up as love. I had a long stretch of caring for my mother who had Alzheimer's. At first, I was completely freaked out, frustrated, angry, afraid, confused, you name it. Any not pleasant word, that's where I was at. And I thought that there was absolutely no upside to that disease or the experience that I was having. It broke my heart wide open. But when that happened, it forced me to learn things that I probably never would have learned any other way. Anybody else had an experience like that? Where you went to a really, really dark place, but it opened up something in you that shifted things. I always thought that I was really strong and that I had all these fabulous coping mechanisms. You know how we are. We think we have it all figured out until the poop really hits the fan. Then we have to really develop that inner strength. So I had found out that I really had to work hard and dig deep to find some of these answers and to find my own strengths that were hidden in there. We all have life challenges, every single one of us. And instead of hating the things that come up for us, that person at work that just drives you right up. We all have met that person. That idiot that you always are behind on the freeway that either is cutting you off or going the wrong speed limit or braking for hallucinations. You know those people. You've been behind them. I've been that person. And you know what? I bet every single one of these people in this room have been that person that didn't see somebody and cut them off. Instead of hating things and railing against them, I learned to embrace the experience that whatever was going on caused me to grow. And I was learning I'm learning to feel grateful for these experiences. The fact that I've been forced to grow and deepen due to my life and some of the terrible choices that I've made in the past, sure no one else here has done that either, it's caused me to grow and deepen as a person. And it's, with my mom, I learned how to be here now, because when you have a 2-second memory capability, you are here now, and you are here now, and you are here now. It was an incredible thing, because I am not a be here now person. I'm worrying about what I did yesterday, and I'm freaked out about what's happening tomorrow a lot. So that was a great tool, and I found that coming out of this caring for her, that I learned to trust really deeply that everything was going to be okay. How powerful trust can be, that everything is going to be okay, that I can be okay, that I can hang on to my anchor, that I can be okay. And the more that I opened up and trusted, the more supported I felt. It's amazing how when you put that forth, it gets returned to you. Now, I know that everyone's process is different, and believe me, I'm not here to tell you how to do your process. I can just share what's worked for me and what is working for me. And that is showing up as love, finding the lessons in the ugly stuff that comes up, and being grateful for them. The Dalai Lama says we can never obtain peace in the outer world until we make peace with ourselves. That's a big one for me. I work on that every day. Ernest Holmes teaches us that when we are tuned into and aligned with Source, that we become a part of that flow that is the energy that is Source. And when we're in the flow, then we're capable of bringing our highest and our best, that love, to every situation. One of the most powerful ways to tune in is silence. Am I good at this? No. But I make an effort every day to be quiet at least a little bit, to meditate, to do affirmations, to write affirmations, and to be around like-minded people. Sometimes that can be our meditation. These are practices that can teach us to show up as love.
I have nothing new to teach the world. Truth and nonviolence are as old as the hills. All I have done is to try experiments in both on as vast a scale as I could. Gandhi. And from Mother Teresa, I have found the paradox that if you love until it hurts, there can be no more hurt, only love.
Wouldn't I love to open up and share my heart with you? Wouldn't the world be an awesome place if everybody else did too? tried out and touched somebody's soul, knowing inside there's only one of us. Together we all make one whole. Love irresistible, love transformational, love irresistible. Wouldn't I love to look inside and find I'm part of you? And in your eyes I'd see the best of me, mirroring this truth. Love irresistible, transformational, love irresistible. Love transformational, love irresistible. We can all make the world a better place by embracing inner peace. Open our hearts and let us realize that the dreams within our reach. Love irresistible, love transformational, love undeniable.
We must discover the power of love, the power, the redemptive power of love. And when we discover that we will be able to make of this old world a new world, we will be able to make men better. Love is the only way. Martin Luther King, Jr.
So as we go about our lives this week, let us each take time to cultivate a little of that inner peace, that quiet. That can be the anchor in the storm. Let's do whatever practice works best for us. Meditation, creating art and music, exercising, personal counseling, meeting with a practitioner, 12-step program, communing with nature or like-minded people. Let's really work to show up as love in every situation, and let's dig deeper for that extra kindness when someone is unkind. Let's look through the filter of our own lives when we've shown up as something less than love. And let's be the love when there doesn't seem to be any love apparent. Let us be that out in the world. So I'd like to read this together. And together we say, I offer you peace. I offer you love. I offer you friendship. I see your beauty. I hear your need. I feel your feelings. My wisdom flows from the highest source in you. I salute that source in you. Let us work together for unity and peace. Thank you so much for having us. Namaste. Thank you.